We'd had some good performances as of late from all of our players. Just we kind of hadn't gotten them all on the same day, and so I think that's why we struggled a little bit as a team in the last couple of events. But honestly, going into Big Tens, I really felt like any 6 of our kids could go and win a Big Ten championship individually as well as, for us as a team.
Coming down at the stretch of the last 3 holes, it was really scary. It was nerve-wracking, but we pushed through it and we eventually won.
At what point in the 3 days did you start to think to yourself, I could probably win this?
I try not to think that way, but the last day, probably going into the last couple of holes, that's when I started to really understand, or it just I didn't realize that. But before that, I didn't expect it at all.
Her game has been really solid the last month or 6 weeks. She's even competing. She's had gotten it under par. She struggled a little bit coming down the stretch. And I think what you saw at Big Tens was her gleaning some experience and, learning from being in that situation leading up to Big Ten. So, I think the fact that she was under par, I don't think she got too caught up in that really. I think to her credit, she was really caught up in what we were doing as a team.
When you recruited Hannah Kim, was Big Ten Player of the Year in her future in your mind?
Yeah.
And if so, did you expect it might have happened this quickly?
Yeah. I mean, we're so proud of Hannah and what she's accomplished this year, and obviously the first time in program history that we've had a Player of the Year recognition. And, this recruiting class with Sarah Cho and Hannah Kim, if you go back and look at it, it was, people were talking about it when we had both those players signed and coming into Northwestern. And so I think the golfing world knew what we had in those two.
When I played well in Puerto Rico and in Miami, when I placed second in both of those tournaments, I started to see the potential that I had, but I didn't want to get too far ahead of myself. So I just try to stay focused on my game, not thinking oh, I'm better because of this, but just to just focus on myself.
What type of confidence does winning that tournament give you going into the regionals next week?
Definitely gave me a lot of confidence, especially because I didn't do so well the whole year. I was working on my swing and working on my game. So anything like that, being part of the team win, anything like that gave me a lot of confidence for regionals.
I feel really confident going into regionals, especially with their team having a more positive mindset from Big Tens. I think we're going to finish well.
6 consecutive trips to the NCAA Regionals, back-to-back NCAA championships in the last 2 years. Is this what you would have expected when you came here?
I would tell you that was the expectation. Coach Goss, our director of golf, when he hired Beth and I, this is what we talked about. On a weekly basis and a monthly basis and a yearly basis. I bought in wholeheartedly, and our kids have certainly bought in, and but it doesn't get old. We don't take it for granted. I mean, every day it's a reminder of what we get out here and work hard, and our kids have just done a tremendous job. They expected this, we expected it, and so we're just going to keep doing it.